We are Brightside Home Theater.
Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The home theater podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
And we're back. Coming in hot today, boys. Coming in hot. Busy. Things are picking up and things putting down. Picking up and putting down. You know, when it rains, it pours. How have we been?
Okay. Yeah.
We'll get to some pleasantries to start.
There are at least no police helicopters circling this week, so I think that's a win.
So they backed off. They figured, all right.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't let them in.
Yeah, so they're just waiting to storm the castle.
Yeah. This is why I've got the same shirt on for last week. I'm basically like we're under siege.
Watt's very polite over there, apparently. Oh, you're not home? Okay, we'll go elsewhere.
We'll come back later.
We'll come back.
We'll wait a week or so.
You're very busy.
Yes. When's good for you?
So, like, you just wanted to get off the show last week so that you could sit in your room and pretend it was Atmos and listen to the helicopter go round and round.
Whoa.
Was that
Check out
Atmos
those overheads.
or GTSX? Or am I up
Oro
mixing
3D.
that?
It's Oro 3D.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The first question I asked the judge on Monday morning when I made bail.
Yeah. Was that Atmos?
Oh man, but yeah, no, it's actually quite. It's quite quiet out there today. Too quiet.
Nice. Oh, too quiet. Yeah, that's
Something's happened.
Something's going wrong. Something's going wrong. How we doing in the chat, Steve? What do we got?
Okay, right. We have got
here.
a fair few in. So Stephen Att first into the chat.
Of course.
More about Steve in a bit.
Momentarily.
We've got Van Gaal's in. Hi, Van Gaal. Paul Hurt is in. Dom's in. We've got Brightside Home Theatre in. Hi, Brightside Home Theatre. We've got Jordan's in. Hiya, Jordan. Mikey's in. And again, still making us feel, very jealous that he's got a little puppy on the way. And we've got Jack Lee's dropped in before he drops out. He always pops in to say hi.
Yep.
And Lightwork FHK.
Yes, I recognize. I just saw him go by. Sorry, I recognize the icon. Sorry, Lightwork. I forget the name. I recognize his emoji or whatever. His icon.
Okay, well, there we go. So I Lightwork, and Carl's in as well. So and anyone else that's tuning in, if you want to say hi and drop a comment in the chat, we're always happy to say hello. We're a broad church, so feel free.
Pull up a chair. Take a look around, say hello. Start your own chat within the chat.
So Jordan says, last Brightside stream I'll be watching at a 29-year-old. Turns 30 next Tuesday. Oh, well, happy birthday, Jordan.
Wow. I remember those days, huh, John?
Making us all feel old.
Yeah. 30.
I think Work's that old.
Yeah. John's underwear is that old.
Yeah, quite.
It's comfy now. Just broken in.
Yeah.
Washed twice.
It's really just a band in a loincloth.
Well, you did say you like Tarzan.
Yeah.
Well, you have less trouble tripping.
I'm not going to do the yell, but yeah, that's right.
All those years of putting your pants on 2 legs at a time paid off.
It did.
All right. Little update. We got some puppy talk going on anyways, so this is why I was late today. My little girl here, she's not so little, about 60 pounds, husky, Romy. She tore her, what they call, I don't remember what they call it on a dog, but it's ACL to you and I. As you can see on her back leg there. So now she's got her shaved leg and a nice slipper on.
It looks like a turkey leg.
Yeah, it does. That's what we were saying. So she's had this for about 6 weeks, and like a true husky, she never slowed her down. She would go out and her back leg would like click, and it was actually kind of like, because you knew what it was kind of gross. It was kind of sad. So here she is on the floor when I got her in the house. But but yeah, so we did the surgery today. She's all bionic and all drugged up, and she was okay until we got her in the house, and now she knows where she wants to be, and she can't. So she's a little whiny. So I smacked her and told her to toughen up.
Yeah, hey, get with the program.
I mean, if you presumably if you asked her how she's feeling, she'd say rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Steve's been holding on to that since I sent you the pictures earlier.
Can I just?
Did you write it down?
Yeah, well, I've got it there delivered. Can I just take a moment to sort of admire and sort of take the mickey? Briggs branded doormat.
Yeah. Well, that's
Is that a thing in the States?
Well, no, it's a true Irishman. You want to make sure you're walking into the right house when you come home at night.
Yeah.
If it says anything else, just turn around and say you're sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think a few of the Irish guys I've met would be so drunk they couldn't read that.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have to be able to read it.
If I could manipulate the door. No, my parents gave me that. You can actually change out the different mats, and that just happens to be the cleanest one at the time. But that's where she likes to lay in front of the in the front door. So, but yes, so nice of you to notice that. So, that's funny. All right, we got
family
some
crest.
Yeah, a bee. Yeah, actually, I do know what our family crest is. I've painted it on Joe's hockey masks. So yeah, on the back plate. We had a couple of donations this week. We had
really
from Patreon. Yeah, we added a couple of new patrons this week. First up, we had Steve Att, who is in the chat. Thank you very much. He is signed up to buy us a box of Jumbo Reese's cups once a month, $2 box of Reese's cups once a month. So thank you very much, Steve. Very much appreciated. And then who's this guy, John? Can you read that? It's a little, I don't know. George something or other.
I don't know.
It's like the man he
Close
gives.
enough.
Yeah, and he's buying
He's got the Truvia logo over there on the side.
Yeah, that is a new one.
Steve has gone green.
Yeah.
Steve George, large box of popcorn, $10 a month. Thank you, Steve. You didn't have to do that, of course. Neither did Steve Att. But we greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. I say we, and it's like we. It's like, thanks, Steve. George. We. So,
oh man,
that's
no worries.
awesome.
Long overdue. I've been meaning to do it for ages, and I finally had the chance to sort it out. So yeah, no problem.
Thank you to everybody. Thanks to everybody for signing up, and all my patrons. Thank you, all of our patrons. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It's starting to come real handy because I haven't touched the money yet, but I think I'm going to be soon. So, yep, good news.
Salamander assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
Take out the hitman,
You start building next week, and so the money's going to flow, the stress is going to flow, the busyness is going to flow.
Yeah.
It's going to be lots of fun. So, looking forward to it. But we also have to, I'd be remiss if I didn't. Why does he have his mail there? I just noticed that. Our buddy Ara over at the HT Guys has a speaker build going on. He built this set of speakers here, and he sent me, this is taken from a video he sent me. He's like, they sound awesome. And I'm like, yeah, they sound great in my phone. Yeah. But I do know firsthand, you guys know, I have this set up in my living room. And those are his speakers there, run by the SVS power thing in the middle. I can't remember what they call it, power base or. But that's I got rid of my sound bar, and I've talked about it before. I'm like, it never ceases to amaze me. It was like a month ago. I just realized I'm like, we don't ever look for like dialogue enhancement anymore. It just sounds so good. And these things crank too, because that's the record player, the turntable, I should say, that I gave Jen last year for Christmas. And yeah, we've spun a few, and they play loud and they skip when you dance too hard. So
yeah, I'm looking to set up a little 2-channel music area at the house too. So
I got a connection for you.
I know. I might have to. Might have to hit them.
You just push the record in the front like a CD player, do you? Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
I'm no expert in these. Old grandparents.
These
it
old
is
things.
funny. It's so much fun to do, but
Gramophone.
it is kind of funny that when you do start playing, they're like, you'll hear 5 songs and you're like, yeah, you're like, and it's
Oh, you
over.
got to turn the record
You
over.
got to
Yeah.
turn it over, and you're like, man. It's like, and like if
Yeah.
you're all like you're having people over and you're hanging out, and we're all over by the island and chatting, and all of a sudden like, where'd the music go? Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
only
it's
get
not-
5 songs.
Yeah.
It's like, but that was a long time back then. We didn't know any better. Now you just
Right.
like it's 5 songs and all by the same people.
Yep.
There's no shuffle. But yeah, definitely go to htguys.com and you can register to win these. I can guarantee the craftsmanship is awesome. I love what he does. His woodworking is awesome, but his attention to being like getting these to like audiophile level. And he works really hard at it. And I keep telling him to sell them, and he keeps saying he wants to give them away. So that's what he's doing. But all right. What else do we got here? What's next up? Oh, here we go. This is fun. Just happened to check. We got two. This is the first one. 2 new 5-star. What do they call them? Ratings. Reviews. 5-star reviews. So, Steve, you want to read that one? John, you can read the next one.
So this is from Oggy718 which is a bit strange, but says, I'm addicted. Well, there are self-help groups for those. But says, I spend large amounts of time driving and I just love this podcast. I've been into home theatre since the late 80s and subscribed to such things as the Laserdisc newsletter and to the Perfect Vision magazine. Always to get an idea of what movies make great demos for my theatre. This fits the bill perfectly, and I love the banter and the community. Keep it up, guys. I love it. Yeah, very nice.
Thanks, Augie.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, and that's exactly that. That's what I used to do. I'd get my home theater magazine, and I'd like flip to the end where all that they'd have their Blu-rays reviews or DVD reviews or Laserdisc reviews back then, and you'd flip to that and see what they thought. But what was funny is way back then the movies had been out for a while because there's such a delay in print.
Right.
You know, so you're like, all right, I already have it. What did they think of it?
Yeah. I've already watched it, but let me get the review.
But you know what was good about that? What I liked about that, like I thought we could have a quick discussion about this, is your opinion wasn't tainted.
Right.
You got to actually experience it first and then see how you compared to that.
Right, you're looking to validate your own opinion.
Well,
in a
not
way.
only not just
In a way, yeah.
not validate because I didn't look at it that way because it didn't change my mind if they were different.
Well,
but what I
right.
did do is I would pay attention to who the writer was, and then if I say a new movie came out that I hadn't purchased already, if most of his reviews compared to mine, I'd be like, oh, I gotta buy that. I like what he's saying there. Everything's gone backwards now because of the internet, and it's like people are waiting to hear our reviews, and like we do the home theater side of it, but everybody's, Ralph and Michael over at AV Nirvana, and you get all the information and then make your decision. But what's funny is that kind of takes it out of your hands. Right. And you know, like now you're predisposed to, a bunch of people didn't, where I know for a fact way back, I used to be like, why did they not like this? I thought this was awesome. Right. And it's like, so that's one of the reasons John and I started doing this, because we liked a lot of stuff that people were like, huh? And, so we wanted to bring the bright side, but, and also focus on the scenes and stuff like that. So, Steve, did you do it? Did you used to do that? I know John did. John and I used to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I still do that to a certain extent. I will still go and look at reviews after I've seen a film to see
but you're
kind
reading
of
your own. That doesn't count.
Yeah, well, that too. But I do. It's very common for me to see a film and then go onto IMDb, as you know, usually looking for trivia. Yep. But and then read a couple of the reviews and think, oh yeah, okay, good, they liked it, or whatever. So I still do that, but I do a bit of both. I mean, I will look at if a disc's a long way out from release, it's a big new release like the Cameron, movies and that kind of thing. I do want to see the reviews to see what people are saying about it. But and then make my decision from there. So I just do both. But obviously, the only opinions that count are yours and John's. So, that's the thing. So that's really what we want to know.
No, the only one that counts is yours, and then to me, it's me, and then. But it's nice when we have something in common. It's nice when we argue, as the listeners know. All right, that was the first. We got 2 this week. John.
All right, so this is from Dallin Flyfisher. Says, great podcast, 5 stars. Just wanted to say this is a wicked good podcast. So he's from Boston.
It's got to be.
And I can't even imagine all the effort and time that goes into this for all of us home theater nerds. Best of luck in the future and with the home build. So thank you, Dallin Flyfisher. Dallin.
Dally Flyfisher.
Dallin Flyfisher?
Yeah.
Maybe? Dallin Flyfisher?
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Again, you don't know what goes into this until you start doing it, and you look it. And like when John and I started, it was like, yeah, just do this. Nope. And then you got to add on, and that's just to get going. You think it's just sit down and record, right, John?
Yeah. Well, that's how we started. But
It's not how it goes. And then just to keep on going, and it's then you realize. So we'll be talking about that in a little while. So so thank you. Keep 5-star reviews are great. It's so much better than watching paint dry in Dolby Atmos.
Yeah. They don't make as many T-shirts, but they're still better.
Yeah, and also if you're listening, please go on to iTunes and look up. The links are in today's Takeover Tuesday for Todd's show. Todd's doing a weekly news show podcast over there, and he has a 1 review. That's not right.
No, he doesn't, Deej.
Oh, you added? Nice. Or was it you?
He's got at least 2.
Somebody added. Okay, he's got 2 now.
Yeah, he's got at least 2 now. Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we gotta get some people over there and start hitting them with some 5-star reviews, so I don't feel bad when I hit them with the 1 star. I just don't want him to get
build him up to knock him down.
It won't tank him down so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Carl says,
right. Carl's 3 now at least. Nice. Yep. Oh, Mikey, I just let my sound and vision sub lapse a month or 2. I still have mine. It's digital, but I still, no, they mail it. It doesn't come as quickly as digital does. So,
these puppies aren't cheap. Puppies aren't cheap. They've got to be sacrificed.
Trust me, I know. I got 2 of them. So, all right. What do we got next? Oh, we're into the show here, guys. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Now we're about to get into the show. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
This one was a little while ago. I'm not really sure. You guys are going to have to remind me.
Oh.
Okay, who's doing this one this
Masters of the Air, Apple TV Plus, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, 4K, the whole 9. I'll let you guys go first. I still have my same opinion, so I'll let you go with it first.
Yeah. Do you want to jump in, John?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, I have my same opinion. I am enjoying the show, especially after this was episode 3, right?
Yeah.
I thought this was, pretty tense episode,
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like I said, the show is getting like more gripping, I guess. But the home theater experience has stayed the same. I feel like it still just isn't really what we come to expect from Apple TV. It looks great. And I think they've done a great, as opposed to Midway, I think they've done a great job with the effects and the dog fights and the plane and all that stuff visually, but audio wise, it just still feels like it's missing. Missing up that punch, especially, you would think that you would be, you're in these bombers that sound like you're inside of a paint mixer or something, I mean, these things should be loud and they should be, you have explosions and I mean, it should just be booming nonstop and it just doesn't. So,
Yeah, I'm the same. I really like the show. I really like this episode as well. And the cinematography is great. There are some shots in this don't spoiler free, but there are some shots in this that look absolutely stunning. Yeah. And actually, I would say there are some shots in this that I've never seen before in terms of the sheer scope and scale of what's being shown on screen. I mean, I think there's a little bit of cheating going on in terms of, I don't know what you call it, the smoke coming out the back of the planes. I think there's a little bit of cheating going on so that you can see all these different things.
Yeah.
But, that notwithstanding, there are some shots in this that look stunning, you just think, wow, how, that all of that on screen at once is amazing. And then you just get a kind of TV series of, audio. It just, man, it's so disappointing. And I even had a friend of mine who I was talking to earlier say it's boring because of the lack of punch to the audio in the video, and just saying, he's not enjoying it. Whereas I'm not in that camp. I think it's great, and it's a really moving story, and there are some some tricky bits in this particular episode. But I just think it's such a shame. I'm almost at the point where I'm thinking it's a missed opportunity. Because this could have been another next step in the streaming journey to the parity with physical media, and yet it ain't. And I'm just praying we're going to get a physical release. And again, I know DJ, I see the starring, but I did bump it. I have bumped the audio. This is not me watching at my normal level. I've gone beyond that, and yet all you're doing is just making it loud. And again, it's not giving you what it should do. And John, you're right. It should feel like you're in the middle of hell when you've got all these things zipping around. You've got guns going off. You've got explosions. It should feel like you are right there, and it never gets beyond TV movie for me. And I'm just I'm really disappointed. The funny thing is, when it starts, this one, by the way, I meant to say, there's a Playtone logo. And when that started, there was a little noise that began. And I thought, ooh, actually, that's got a bit of presence to it. That's, maybe they fixed it. But no, as soon as they're up in the logo,
they put all the money into the logo.
Yeah, being, ooh. Well, I just thought maybe they have. It sounded quite good,
right?
It's only a little noise, and I thought, well, maybe they've actually done something with it. But then, nope, and it just very quickly, these massive, wrought on the big screen battles, and minuscule audio. Such a shame. Yeah, it really is.
All right.
Yeah, fingers crossed for physical. Yeah,
that's why I'm going last. Because I'm going to bring the bright side. VJM says you'll need to turn the volume up on this plus 8 dB from your normal listening level. I went to 10.
I think I'm at 6. So
I went 10 dB. I was 6 last week. I went to 10 this week. Much better, and it is actually as dynamic as anything else I've heard streaming. Because when you punch it to that, even my remote, there were a couple during the battle scenes, my remote lit up, and then there are quiet scenes, like when they go, like you're outside the plane, then you go inside the plane, or they're talking or something, or you go back to the base, or you go here and there. It actually takes that dynamics, and it wasn't like, I agree with you, Steve. Like last week when I was at 6, I felt like it just raised the volume. But when I went to that plus 10, where I was, my normal listening level is reference. So
mine, same.
You're John, I know does the same. So it's like I'm at plus 10 over that. It is not excessively loud, but it's like the dialogue gets better. Everything, it does make a big difference. When I heard that this week, I was wondering, did they like lower this on purpose because it's the battles and stuff, and knowing that I don't like when they do that. I've heard speculation that that's why Disney does it, so people don't just turn your own volume down, right?
Right.
But I don't understand that. Maybe that's just that's just me throwing darts in the dark. But yes, if you go to plus 10 over what you're normally listening to, you're going to get damn close to what you would normally hear out of a very good stream. So
I must admit,
give it a try.
I haven't,
give it a try.
Yeah. I haven't gone that high.
I went plus 6. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give it a go as well. But I don't know. It just with these guns going off, it should just be bang, 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 and it's just not. You know, the guns sound the same depending on where they are. They don't sound much bigger than anything else. You know, they don't. These things should be deafening. You know, and I'm just not getting it. But okay, I'll give that a go. Maybe it'll be better next time. Although I've got a funny feeling we've lost the big battles for a little while. So it might
this
be quite a
episode
while
may
before-
not be quite as dynamic.
We'll see.
it's going to become something else. Looking at the coming soon thing.
Yeah, I
think
think
the series is about to evolve.
It's going to
something
evolve,
very
yeah.
different. Yeah, so we might be a while before we get the next battle, but I'll give it a go. But I wasn't the only one. The person I saw it with, who again, as I often say, couldn't really give a rat's bottom about this surround sound stuff in a big screen, and yet even they said, look, I'm not feeling it. Really enjoying the show, but just not feeling the cinematic experience. But I'll give it a go.
There you go. That's all we can ask, Steve. That's all we can ask.
Go. Roger that.
Roger that. All right. Also in the chat, thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate that. Paul
I thought he
says
meant the show, not this one. I thought he meant Masters of the Air.
I did too.
I think he's talking about us.
Yeah, I think
this
he is
too.
too.
about us,
How well balanced the audio, because we've never called like a piece of content well balanced other than our own audio. It's like, but yes, we've been working at it, checking different things, and hopefully we've got it figured out. Who knows? Tune in next week.
Yeah.
But thanks for letting us know. I actually was going to ask, but I didn't want to bring it up in case it was crappy.
I don't really want to know.
I
So
don't really want to know. Oh yeah, Paul. Yes, talking about you guys. Thanks.
Phew.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I'm like, you don't want to open that wound. Be like, what's it look like under there? Don't want to know. All right. Ooh, about to get hot in here.
is it? I guess. Am I up?
Oh yes. Woo! Here we go.
All right. So I watched Moonfall, 4K disc. So this was Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. What a loaded drivel this movie was. I mean, I'm trying to put it in the nicest way possible. Oh my God, was this movie rubbish? As far as the story in the movie itself goes, the disc, on the other hand, is pretty stellar. Actually,
Yeah.
it is really, really good. This is a disaster movie of epic proportions, and you felt, doesn't get more. Yeah, it doesn't get more disaster than this. The moon falling. It is really, really excellent. And I paid $10 for this movie, and it is well worth the $10 for getting the experience of the home theater here, because it looks fantastic and it sounds fantastic. And I didn't have any problem at all with any of the visual effects or the CG. Like, I thought this movie technically was very, very well done.
Yeah.
It just is garbage, though. It is so stupid. It is just,
It's like,
it is just bad. I cannot believe they got Halle Berry to sign on. She must have a vacation house that she needed to make a payment on or something, because she's winning Oscars and then starring in this. But yeah, I mean, if you want to work out your home theater, though, this movie will do it. Like, it is really, really excellent. Just don't expect a lot. Most people have probably seen it. I'm usually the last one to these things because I wait and buy them when they're cheap. So most people have probably seen it, but I'm super glad I didn't pay $30 for this, but $10, I might have even paid $8 for it. So all day long, I'd pay $8 for this, just to get that. So
I haven't gone back and watched it again, but I will.
Yeah,
No, and I feel like it'll be better the second time because my expectations are so low.
pretty low.
You
Well,
know,
mine were low going in, but
yeah, it's like, and when I saw this, I was just like, "What? How is nobody calling this out?" I was like, "Everybody," and I love movies, I love home theater stuff, but I was like, "The moon? What?" Like, no.
oh, that's true.
Uh,
She did star in Catwoman.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks,
Well,
Tom. That was
yeah.
before her Oscar, though, wasn't it? I think that was before, maybe.
Yeah, around the time, yeah, I'm not sure.
Now she's
Well,
Oscar
I-
winner Halle Berry. So
Yeah,
you
well,
can't-
quite.
Yeah.
I can answer your question, Deej,
What's that?
because I watched it for a second time this week.
And
It's still nonsense. I mean, if
I
anything, the
didn't think it got
nonsense is even
smarter.
worse.
it's even worse, right?
I mean, if anything, it's worse because the huge the huge exposition dump that comes at sort of 3/4 of the way through the film makes even less sense the second time. I mean, it really is just like, what the hell? Anyway, but again, John, I am 100% with you because I had forgotten how good and this looked
Yeah.
and sounded. I'd totally
Yeah.
forgotten that. I mean, it's rocking all the way through, and the imaging of the spouts of water and the camera moving between them, and they go right around the room.
Yeah, like I said, it's really, really well done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Although the CG on the flooding's a bit ropey at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I thought, but generally though, and it looks amazing and sounds amazing. So yeah, you can forgive a lot of sins if it looks and sounds good,
And
because this movie does have all the sins. But yeah, so it is barking mad. It's utter bilge,
Yeah.
but it's entertaining for us because you're
Steve
watching it
At's
on
got
a
a great
on
comment.
screen. Yeah.
Moonfall was a fun demo movie, kind of like an upscaled hurricane heist.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's another dumb movie, but also great for,
Yeah,
for home
Exactly.
theater.
And what's funny is that's the one I just sent to John.
Yeah, it just showed up at my house.
I was like, he's not
man.
gonna buy this, so I'm just sending it to him.
And 14 copies of Bloodshot.
Bloodshot, yeah,
Exactly.
which was just half of his collection, to be fair. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just this week's.
yeah,
I think Deej is actually buying them all up. I think he's the only one buying them.
Yeah.
He's just clearing
Like, this
clearing
is a
them all.
popular movie.
trying to get Bloodshot 2 made. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It'll be like the
exactly.
ET video game. Somewhere out in Nevada, there's just going to be this huge pit full of Bloodshot like Blu-ray discs, and just Deej is just burying them with his new John Deere.
I'm not gonna bury him. I gotta display him.
Use them as backfill for the basement.
There you go. There you go. All right. Is that enough on Moonfall?
that's enough.
Yeah, I mean it needs to be seen, and as a home theater fan,
Needs to be
really
seen and heard. Yes,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
quite. I mean, for $8, $10, I mean,
Yeah.
it's worth that just as a demo. You
I say-
just ignore everything
yeah.
that's happening on the screen. Just enjoy
I mean,
it.
you should say, we say leave your brain at the door. I'd say leave your whole head, but your eyes and ears are attached.
Yeah,
so
so
you
just close your
kinda gotta
eyes.
take it.
Well, you
It's
don't want
just
to
like
close
you
your eyes
can't.
because you want to
It's like,
see it too. But
I'm like,
yeah,
oh
close your
God.
brain and just take it in.
It is.
awful.
It is pretty incredible the way Emmerich managed to persuade the studios to spend that kind of money because
Yeah,
it's a
'cause
Lionsgate film as well, isn't it? So there are many major.
I say
So
it had to be quite costly.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
anyone
I think
think that the
CGI is
script
coming
stage-
down a lot and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of visual
Apparently-
effects
Must have
there,
been-
though. Yeah.
apparently,
Yeah.
you can save a lot of money by not hiring a real writer.
Yeah. Or A-list actor. Well, again, Halle Berry is an A-list
Barry's
actor.
an A-list
but-
actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Patrick,
Patrick
Wilson, these
Wilson.
days.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's in Aquaman, but
That's I gotta pull it back up. This is crazy. We're sitting here talking about it, and we just gotta. I mean,
Oh.
how do you? Because you've rejuvenated my enthusiasm for this.
Piqued your interest.
How this is one of those. You hear the stories of how they'll take what's it like The Rock and somebody what's his name, the comedian. they do movies together.
Kevin Hart?
Or Rock and Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Hart, something like that. But they'll
okay.
take two actors and they're like, you're doing a movie. They don't have a story, they don't have anything, but here it is. We're just going to do it around them. This here sounds like they're like, we got a whole bunch of special effects we want to use.
Right.
Who wants to do it with us? Halle Berry's like, I could use another house. Okay,
Yeah.
she's in. Patrick Wilson's like, I like to gamble. He's in. It's like all these people like, all right, what's it going to cost for writers? We don't need those. Go back, Carl, go write about some thunderstorm, buddy. We're gonna save the money, and we're just gonna have a moon crash into the earth, and we'll see what happens. What? It's crazy.
That's the thing. But some guys spent 2 years working on this.
Oh yeah.
Because you imagine that. Can you imagine as the director having to see this film
Welcome to the drug
100
problem
times?
in L.A.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. If you think, you when you watch these films, because when I see these and they're dreadful, you're thinking someone watched this 100, 150, 200 times,
Right.
poring over every shot, making sure every little bit is done. I hate to say someone's wasted their lives, but
Well,
does
not their
kinda
lives,
make-
but yeah,
well,
it's
you just
2 years of
gotta
it.
get- yeah. Well, it's
That's
a lot
pretty
of time.
pricey.
yeah.
So Jordan says, it costs between 138 and 146 million. For Disney, that's, down the back of the sofa. But for Lionsgate, that's a
that's a lot.
enormous investment. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just, it's crazy. But, good news is they made it just for us.
But
So we can just
exactly.
enjoy it.
And that's what I like about it. I'm like, we're making fun of all this stuff, but that's what I love about Roland Emmerich films. Like, he just loves doing this stuff because he wants to do all of that explosions and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, and it does make us appreciate when you get a story that's well grounded, like, Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Right.
So much more.
Emmerich's
realistic.
made some good stuff. I don't hate, I'm sorry to say, Godzilla 1998. I don't hate that.
No.
I quite like it of its time. I still think probably The Patriot is one of
Matthew
his best
Broderick.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Patriot's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a
absolutely
great
love that.
movie.
Even if you have got,
He's got
even
some
if you do
other
have an
ones, too.
Australian saving
Yeah.
America, but that's okay.
Even look at Universal Soldier back in the 80s.
Yes.
Was that 80s or 90s? Something like
90s,
that. But that,
90s,
yeah,
right?
that was, back then, that was fantastic. And it still plays pretty well today, but you're like, yeah, I could see that this is
And
old.
obviously, Independence Day is an
Yep.
absolute classic. I
first
happen
one.
to love that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Resurgence. Let's not talk about that. Well, Emmerich has disowned Resurgence.
Is he
He
really?
has said, look, He has publicly said, I wish I hadn't made that. So do we.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once.
We're
and
all
I
in
will
agreement.
refuse- That's another
Yeah.
Fifth Element for me. I will not see that film again, and I will not own it.
Yeah. I
That's
own
about
it
£2 here.
everywhere.
It's about £2 on 4K
Really?
disc, and I still
Yeah.
wouldn't buy it. Yeah. It's always on Amazon for absolute, it's always cheapest 4K disc, and it's always that.
But as a home theater fan owner, anything he puts out, we have to get and test. It's you know what I mean? It's like, you just, all right, it didn't work, but it's always worth grabbing just to test it and test your system. And, okay, maybe the next one will have a better story. I don't know.
Right.
So, all right, that'll be it on Moonfall. Till next
Until the
week.
sequel. Sunfall.
Sunfall, yeah. Actually, we got that coming up in a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
So, what do we got? Oh, yeah, here we go. Steve, you're up here.
Yes.
Little less special effects.
Yeah, time for a proper movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and apologies, guys, by the way, for putting up a package shot as well as the other one, but this is such a cool box, I kind of had to.
Yeah.
So
Had to
this
crop it
is...
for 60, but
Yeah, you're okay. Again, sorry, man. I just
That's
grabbed
okay.
it.
We'll
And
talk.
the reason I did that, so the film is Thelma and Louise, for those listening, on the Criterion 4K Blu-ray. So in 4K UHD with DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. Now, the reason I took a picture of the box, also I think it's quite cool artwork, but also this is, as I believe it, the first Criterion release on 4K in the UK. 4K UK, there we go. And so having got it, I thought, well, let's mark the occasion. And I saw the film, and fellas, it was my first viewing of this film.
Oh, yeah?
I had never seen it. Yeah, thanks to The Simpsons, I knew how it ended.
Spoilers.
They didn't. Well, quite good old Simpsons, man. They spoil everything. But yeah, so I did know how it ended, and I knew what was coming. But yeah, it was my first watch of the film. This is another one of my ticking off these movies that I should have seen that haven't, but have now come out in 4K. So as a film, I thought it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this, and I know this is old news for everybody else who's seen it 300 times. But for me, this was a first viewing, and I thought it was great. It was engaging. The acting was really good. The story was well done. It's ludicrous in terms of how it unfolds, but it's absolutely riveting for that.
That's no
I never.
Moonfall.
Well, yeah, but I never got taken out of the story, but even though it's patently absurd. And yet I thought it was really, really enjoyable. In fact, it's interesting. I don't know if John Thompson's in the chat. I haven't seen John yet. I'll be curious because he knows Ridley Scott, the director of this, and he was a very good friend of Tony Scott. And what I thought was interesting about this seems to be Ridley doing Tony, because there's loads of kind of sunset shots and kind of, magic hour shots that aren't normally Ridley's style. And yet there was plenty of it in here. So anyway, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was great. And if you've seen it and everybody else has in the world, then and on the moon, that it's still really, really good. And I'm pleased to say, although you'll already know because it's a Criterion disc, and the transfer of this was approved by Ridley Scott, it looks fantastic as well. It is razor sharp. The HDR brings this to life. I can only imagine how it looked on DVD or VHS back in the day. This film was made for HDR. So all those sunset and sunshine, sunrise shots look warm and exude heat, even though it's obviously just a picture. It looks fantastic, and Brad Pitt has never looked more kind of young.
Yeah,
did in this.
This was his first movie, I think, right?
I think it was breakout, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
well,
he was
maybe
only like
it
about
definitely is
12.
breakout, but I think this was his
This was
first
91.
one. Could be wrong. But
It was when was True Romance? That was after that.
93, wasn't it? True Romance, something like that.
True Romance was after that, but they were all bit parts. But this is his first big.
Yeah, so it looks fantastic. It really does, and even the nighttime scenes with the rain and everything else all just looks great. And it sounds very nice as well. You've got some really beefy explosions. The truck explosion, all that kind of stuff, all sounds great. The gunshots have got real kind of heft to them, and we get a thunder and lightning storm. So everyone's a winner with rain. So of course coming down over the top. So Carl will be pleased.
There you go.
And I genuinely was impressed with this. The movie, the experience, everything. It is great. And it does come with a very cool, because again, it is Criterion, and might as well celebrate the fact that they give you a bit extra. And it comes with a booklet that has essays on the movie, as they always do. But it has the pitch, the original pitch, handwritten at the back. And it literally says, two women, crime spree, something happens, they live forever, as it were, with spoiler free.
That's it, huh?
All right, yeah, and that's the pitch, and it's all in this book, so it's very cool to read. So yeah, I really recommend this. I don't know if it's out over there yet. I don't know whether it came out on Criterion there ages ago, and now it's just hit here because it only came out here like last week.
Okay.
So that I don't know, but if it is out there or if it's coming and you like the movie, pick it up because it was great. Yeah, really, really enjoyable, and nice to see a movie with women with agency and taking their lives into their own hands and they're being masters of their own destiny. I think that's great. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Very, very cool.
Masters of their own destiny.
Well, mistresses of their own destiny, but one of them says to the other one at some point, "I don't want to live in that world." And I just think that's very cool. And actually a sister movie to Barbie in that respect as well, I would say. Albeit with a very different approach.
Yeah, completely different. Yeah, different. Yeah, but take control of yourself. basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Paul's saying, I think, had a US 4K criterion since last year. Okay.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'm-
pick it up,
okay.
guys, if you haven't. Yeah.
just found
really
it on
cool.
Amazon, $28. So
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, right. Jordan's correcting me here. Okay. I thought this was the first one. So actually, they've done After Hours, Pinocchio, One False Move, and The Last Picture Show. There you go. So fair enough. I missed all of those. I don't own any of those. This is the first one I was aware of. So, yeah. But I appreciate the feedback, Jordan. Well done.
Cool. All right.
There we go.
Let's see. Pull that one down. What else do we got here? All right. Next up, let's see. What do we got next? Ooh. I texted John about this right away. This one was, wow. I am 100% addicted. Yeah. Yellowstone season 2. I bought it all on Kaleidoscape. I had to. It was so good. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I want to own it? And I understood what John was saying last week. Like, well, you can, I mean, and it was on Peacock. It was really nice. It was good, like I said last week. And then I bought it. And well, it's like, what did I say? Like halfway through the second episode, I bought it, or into the third, or whatever it was. And I was just like, holy crap. I texted John while I was
yeah, like
watching
early
it.
in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Get one
this
more.
is insane, because talk about dynamics, like we were talking about with like Masters of the Air. If anybody's seen Yellowstone, like most people have, I know I'm late to the party, right? Okay, so I saw Thelma and Louise. I was waiting to finish that, and so I could see Yellowstone. Here we go. So, I'm well into season 2 now. I'm almost done with that.
And that's the sign that you really like it, because
know.
you're already almost into season 3, because that's
Yeah.
generally a 2-year process for you.
Yeah.
So
John's been yelling at me to finish stuff that he like does in a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like binging
6
this.
episodes, that's a day, man. Come on.
Yeah. and John's like, I do that before work.
Yeah.
So how was it? I don't know. I slept through half of it. Oh, okay. No, but the dynamics in sound for this, absolutely amazing. It's like, that's what I texted John. I was like they do these transitions, and like the screen, because they're supposed to be, they do transitions so they could put commercials in there, right? Well, on if you get this on disc, or I have it on the Kaleidoscape, and you're getting the DTS Master Audio 5.1, and they go to that, the screen goes black, and you get the boom, and like my walls are shaking. The like, there's stuff on my, and it's so like, it's such a refined bass boom that it's not like, Moonfall, when the moon scrapes the earth and everything's moving. You expect everything to be moving in your room, right? This is just a bass note that makes, if you have, like, it's when you do a frequency sweep, like a bass sweep from 0 to 100, and you're like, and you'll hear those little things vibrating. That's what the show does, like with every transition. And what you'll start to notice is, it's going to get bad, because they'll go boom as they go into a scene, and you're like, oh no. It's like the one I just ended on in season 2. I won't tell you what they said. John will know the scene, but he's like, 2 characters are standing there, and the camera's pulling back behind them, and they're looking at the horizon, and there's a storm coming, and then all of a sudden the rain starts to come in. You didn't hear it, but you started to see it between the camera and the characters, but then you start to hear it, and you hear the rumble over it. Boom. Like, I almost want to cancel the show so I could get to the next episode. But it was like, the sound adds so much more to it. I'm glad I spent the money. I'm glad I've got everything. The only thing I'm not glad about is it takes me longer, because now I can only watch it in my theater, which is where I should watch it appropriately. But the story is that good that you're like, wherever you are, you're like, all right, maybe I could sneak a little on my phone, pull a Steve.
Mr. Briggs.
I didn't. So yeah, it is so good. If you haven't seen this, just buy it physically. And
Yeah,
you know,
but
I think it's worth it. It's I mean, it's fairly expensive. I got it for $83 for everything, and so
Well,
But
yeah, and
they
I
told
think,
me last
like,
week. That,
yeah, wait
go
for
on, John.
the.
Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say at this point, wait for the final season and get the box
Hmm.
set because the final season is upcoming. So I wouldn't buy it now when you've got another.
So is
you
the
know,
final season 6 or the last half of 5?
I don't know how they're calling it, but
Okay,
because
Because-
yeah, it took a big
hiatus.
hiatus. Yeah, it could just be 5.2 or something. I
Right.
don't know, but
See, I didn't even. This is one of the shows that has been since I got my Kaleidoscape over almost 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was one. This is one of the shows that got added in the middle. Like I am getting these as they air, as
Right.
well. Now that I own it, right? If I had bought it back then, I would have been getting. But I will be caught up probably by Sunday. No, I'll be caught up for when they start putting the shows out, and I'll get them next day on my Kaleidoscape instead of having to watch them live on wherever they're streaming live. So that's really cool because I already have all of season 5 or what's out so far, the 7 episodes, I think. or
yeah. So
something
I
are out.
think it's probably the second half of season 5, but whatever is upcoming is
is the
my
final.
understanding is the final. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it goes on after that.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's coming back. I don't think it's super soon, but
No. I mean, as long as it holds out till like next Friday. I'll
right, you'll be
probably
caught
make
up. But I mean, like I would just, like I said, if you're going to spend the money anyways, I would just wait to get the whole box set when it's done.
Right, I can wait a bit longer. Yeah,
It's
I
good.
do want to see it because everyone says it's great. Everybody kind of says it. But I'm hoping it's a story that travels, though. I hope it's a story that kind of is relevant to us
It
over
is.
here across the pond. And it's not
I
just
think
a
so. I mean, obviously,
thing
it's
that's kind of hard to get into.
American
yeah.
Midwest, but
it's American
yeah.
Midwest,
But the
but
story
it's more
is
about human nature.
yeah, the story is
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
pretty,
Great
fairly-
discussions
yeah,
to
fairly
be had by
universal.
all.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, I'll pick it up. Well, I can wait, and then I'll just get it
Yeah.
all in one set. That's fine. And then I can just binge it. That's fine. Van Gaal says in the chat, season 5, part 2, November.
Oh.
Well, it's
I
time
got
for me to
plenty
save
of
up.
time.
So it's
Yeah.
a way. Yeah, it's a ways away.
Yeah,
Hey,
Pace
you'll be
yourself,
through it a
Deej.
second time, DJ.
probably. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I probably
Through it
will
a second time, and having bought it for the 4th time.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Well,
it'll all be
I
fine.
know. I got to get the physical version, display it. Yeah.
The good thing Kaleidoscope doesn't allow you to buy things more than Kaleidoscape rather doesn't allow you to
man.
buy things more than once.
John,
This is how
John has
this is
gotten
how
that
Deej
text, too.
saves money.
What's
Yeah.
that?
This is how Deej saves money.
Yeah.
This is how the Kaleidoscape kind of paid for itself because
right.
it stopped him buying multiple
That-
copies of the
When
same
I
thing.
first got it, that's what I was texting John. I was like, I had it for like 6 months, and it was like the first time I tried to buy something, and it's like, no, you already own this. Oh, so I texted him a screen grab. I go, I can't. They won't even let me.
See, Amazon doesn't do that for you, so
Nope.
Yeah.
That's how I end up with multiple copies of things.
The reason that I use the My Movies app thing on here on the iPad and the iPhone is because that happened to me. I bought
Yeah.
Vikings season 4 twice.
really.
And this was before I was using cardboard
You
sleeves.
watched it twice
And
too. You didn't even realize.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I'm kind of stuck in season 3
So you
somewhere.
bought it twice and still haven't seen
know,
it.
I've done that
exact-
with
yeah, quite.
movies.
Yeah.
I've had 2
And so-
unopened movies. I still haven't watched. You'd think the second
man.
time I bought it, like, oh, I got to see this. And you get home, like, oh, I already own it. And then you go on to something else and never watch either of them.
That's it. I'm somewhere stuck in season 3 of Vikings. I really enjoy it, but it's just kind of getting back to it. And but I did buy it twice. But since I've had the app, that doesn't happen because you're in the store and you're thinking, oh, that looks good. And then you're like, oh, no, okay, I already got
Yeah,
that.
I did the same thing. Yeah. I do the same thing. I use CLZ, but it's same function.
Yeah, I used to, same thing. I used to do the same thing. I had I can't remember what my app was, but I did the same thing. Just so I'd know, I'd be in the store and looking at like Best Buy and looking at the shelf going, oh, I already got it. And it's like, you used to be able to, on mine, you just scan the barcode
Right.
and it would put it right in.
Yeah,
for
this
you.
one as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah,
And
you
I'd
can
be
just
doing
type
that
it in
like on
on-
my way to the register. Do I? Oh, damn, I got to put this one back. I already got it.
Just as you got to the front of the line,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, now I got to
queuing for
go
like-
do something else.
Yeah, but 30 minutes. Oh no,
I got
oh,
my
okay.
allowance. All right. John, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All righty. Here we go.
All right. So this is a show that I haven't heard too many people talking about, but it's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, season 1 on Disney Plus. Most people are probably familiar because of the movies. Same storyline, basically, just in series form. This is on Disney Plus, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. This is a tween show. If you're familiar with the movies or the book series, I mean, along the lines of Twilight and Maze Runner and all that stuff. But I really enjoyed this. I thought, I think it was only 6 episodes. It wasn't super long. Oh no, it says 8. So it was 8 episodes. It wasn't super long. I mean, I watched this every week as it dropped. But I thought the production quality on this was excellent. I mean, there's definitely a budget here. They spent, it's Disney, but they spent some money on this show. I mean, the special effects are pretty high quality. And I thought the home theater aspect of this show was pretty solid all the way through. There was some scenes, for those that don't know, he's the son of Poseidon. Spoilers. So, I mean, there's a lot of ocean waves, water kind of manipulation, storms, things. And it sounds really good. Again, it's streaming, so it's not disc quality. But it's a fun show, and like I said, I thought it was a pretty solid home theater experience. Really good visuals, good special effects, and some pretty good audio. So,
is this part of any other? Like, do you have to have seen anything else?
You don't have to have seen anything because it's basically retelling book 1. I mean, this is a book series. Okay. And the movies, I think, were like book 1 and book 2. But this is really essentially telling the whole story again. So you don't have to have seen any of the movies. You can just jump in here and you'll be perfectly able to follow it. Stephen Att says, my son is big into Percy Jackson, says it's more true to the books versus the 2 prior movies. That makes sense. Again, they had 8 hours, so they had a lot more time to kind of delve into some of that. And I'm not going to give away the spoiler in the very last episode, but there is something that happens that will tell you how long ago this was filmed.
Oh, wow.
Because there's a cameo in here that will let you know that this was filmed quite a while ago.
Oh,
so wow. I don't know if it got held because of the strike or just post-production or anything like that. But there's a character reveal in the last episode, and you're like, what? That really looks like such and such. And then you're like, oh, it is.
Oh, wow. Cool.
This is at least a year old. So, But yeah, like I said, really fun. Give it a shot.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things holding me back from it was I wasn't sure if it was like continuity wise, you had to be paying attention to something else.
Oh, no.
And no, but that sounds awesome. And especially after, what Stephen Att said. So that's awesome.
And again, it's all Greek, I love that stuff.
It's all Greek to
I
me.
love mythology. I love Greek gods. And, I always liked that stuff in school. So
yeah, me
this
too.
is right in my wheelhouse. I like this type of world anyways. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. All righty. Let's see. What do we got? Who's next on the board here? Here we go. There we go. We got to get something like this in, of course. Of course. All right. You get that?
So this is the, small film. Some of you might have heard of it. The 1987 sleeper hit, Predator.
Indie film.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, that's it. Below the line, much forgotten.
Yeah.
Predator. Yes, indeed. Now, obviously, this is on 4K disc. Again, 4K UHD and in DTS HD 5.1 master audio. And the reason for watching it this week, of course, is the very, very sad death of Carl Weathers, who at 76, just I mean, it's no age at all. So this is the one I went to. I mean, I've seen the Rocky movies recently in 4K, and and some other ones that we might talk about next week as well. But yeah, so this is my go-to. So I watched this again, and this came as part of a set that they did a couple of years ago. Well, I say a couple of years, it's probably nearly 4 years ago now. Of all the Predator movies, so you get Predator and you get Predator 2 and Predators, the
It was
Predator.
right before Prey, wasn't it? Like they were like we knew Prey was coming like a year before or something.
Yeah, I think so. So yes, but this is a very, very, very cool version of it, because this is not the scrubbed clean version that so plagued people's lives on Blu-ray, and it's not the rather poorly done 3D version, which I've also got on Blu-ray. This is a properly preserved and presented 4K disc. So the grain's intact, but really well looked after. The HDR is really nice, and it looks as good as this film could possibly look. Bearing in mind how challenging the filming of this was and how many issues they had, it looks great. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about the movie. Everyone knows it's a classic film, and if you haven't seen it, what the hell? Sort yourselves out. Come on, hit pause, go see it, come back. We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Yeah. It really does look great, and all the different jungle foliage, all the different greens, and the juxtaposition of the red. I mean, 1987. Can we spoil it? Some bodies. The red of the blood against the green looks absolutely awesome. I mean, it basically glows. And then when you get to the action scenes with the explosions, they've never looked more colorful. They've never looked more kind of dynamic visually. So it looks really good, and also it sounds very nice indeed. Now, I have seen this film probably as many times as I've seen Star Wars. This is another one of those movies that I could quote probably backwards. And I heard things in this that I don't remember hearing previously. I mean, I listened to it at proper volume, and there are all kinds of things going on that I had missed before. Little lines of dialogue, little things here and there that weren't very clear in the past, but that I heard. Now, I have seen this in the cinema room, so I think whether I was just paying more attention this time, or maybe I just saw it at a time where I could have the volume up to where it should be. But I had a great time with this. The film's awesome. This is a really, really good presentation of it, and it's the only way to see it. Forget the Blu-ray, forget the 3D version. Give this a go. There is detail in the image. There's things I hadn't seen as well on the costumes and various other things.
The humidity,
it's great.
The humidity and the depth in the jungle. That's what I remember when I did a standalone on this a couple of years ago. The 4K release, and it's just that depth of field, like stuff closer to the camera was like jet black, but then as you went through the jungle scene, like things were like kind of getting grayed out because you could feel that humidity, and like you said, the blood and the green and then the green blood, and then I mean, just it was just it's just
great.
awesome. Yeah, it is. Sounds awesome. Have you seen the 4K, John?
No,
No,
I don't
you
have the
it?
box set. No, I don't. I don't have the box set. I mean, I've seen this movie loads of times, obviously. But yeah, it's one that's kind of slipped my memory, I guess. But I definitely will be looking to pick up the whole box set.
Yeah, I mean, it would be dirt cheap now because it wasn't expensive when it came out. I seem to remember thinking that's actually a really decent price.
Yeah.
So now I'll bet you it is really, really sensibly priced. And they're all good. Although, I mean, I must rewatch Predators because I seem to remember when I first saw that. Predator 2 is great. I've got such a soft spot for Predator 2. And Mark Craven, the editor of Home Cinema Choice, told me that Predator 2 is his favorite film of all time.
Oh, wow.
But Predators, I seem to remember that didn't sound that great on the 4K disc. So I need to rewatch
I saw it. I did a show on it. It was pretty good.
Oh, did you? On Predators?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the one on the other planet. That one.
Yeah. Spoil it,
Yeah.
Steve.
Well, it's on the description. But it was pretty good. I wasn't as crazy about the story as I am about the other two, but it was a good home theater experience, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, just the bass I seem to remember lacking a bit in that, but I need to give that another go. Yeah, how much is it, John? How much is it now?
$30 for the
whole set?
for the box set. So
Wow.
that's $7.50 a movie. doesn't get any better than that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll
That's
be
awesome.
adding that to the collection this week.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Yeah.
They're all good, timeless movies. I think the Predator, the Shane Black one, maybe not, but the other three in particular are really really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jordan
So Jordan
Carpenter.
says,
Go ahead.
yeah, go on, Jay, go on, Deej. Sorry,
I
you put
have,
out a
yeah.
comment.
Jordan says I have all 5 Predator films on 4K disc, all fun to watch in their own way. Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I'm hoping since Prey we get more, because I think that kind of opened the door to like where could we go? It's kind of
I
like,
think I think there is a sequel in the works for
Yeah.
Prey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's on
Yeah.
its way. Yeah.
Like a World War II era sequel, if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I thought Amber Mindhunter was still in it. I think it's.
Oh,
a
and I
direct
could be
sequel.
wrong. I thought I had
Yeah.
seen something about World War II, but it could. Yeah, like I said, I
Yeah.
could be
Are
wrong.
you saying that episode 9 of Masters of the Air might have some real surprise to it?
Yeah,
What?
Just decloaking predators on the
yeah,
wings.
little green blood in the background.
Now that'll
Yeah.
get us excited.
Oh,
You heard it here. You heard it here first, guys.
We got monsters.
Yeah.
Are there going to be any monsters in your show about monsters?
In your monster
your
show.
monsters.
But we got some comments here. Jordan was absolutely shocked by the passing of Carl Weathers. Such an incredible impact in so many franchises, from Rocky, Predator, Toy Story, and more. Recently with Star Wars: The Mandalorian. And then Van Gould chimes in, yes, and Happy Gilmore as well. Lots of Action Jackson posters going by on Twitter this week. Quotes going by, "Get to the chopper" by Dom Harper in the chat. So I was too. I mean, we're going to do it again next week. We'll talk about some more next week too. But yeah, he was. It was like, wasn't he like he was so well known, but yet he wasn't like a Stallone or a Schwarzenegger. But he was as
He never
well
quite
known
got
as
that A-list status, I don't think.
No, but he was like one of them, right?
I think Action Jackson was supposed to be his star franchise.
exactly.
And it
Yep.
didn't really do what they wanted it to do, but
Which is weird because everybody loved him. We all loved them. So you're like, how
should
did
have
that
been
not work?
he should have been, talked about in those regards. But I don't think
like,
he ever was.
When he showed up in like Happy Gilmore, you're like, oh my God, that's Apollo Creed. And then when he shows up in The Mandalorian, you're like, that's Apollo Creed.
Right.
And I wouldn't call that being typecast. I just say that that's a famous character.
Right.
Well,
it's always Rocky too, or Rambo, right? But there's Rambo, there's Rocky, it's
Yeah, I think Carl Weathers, he as great as his story arc in Rocky IV is. I think because of the outcome of that, again, I'm trying not to spoil a film from 1984.
right.
But as great as that was, I think that sort of did him a disservice, because then when his own spin-off his own franchise didn't then take off.
Right.
I think the
couldn't-
90s kind of disappeared for him. I think he was just kind of he just was not really on the scene. Other than Happy Gilmore was a big movie, but not an A-list movie.
Right.
And he's only got and he's a little bit of a joke part in that. I think it's a bit of stunt casting. It's part of the joke, isn't it?
Right.
It wasn't really until The Mandalorian where suddenly I think people realize, oh yeah, of course, Carl Weathers, how's he doing? But unfortunately, just as he was kind of, everyone loved him in that, he was directing episodes in that, he did a really good job on some of those. That it's just a shame that it kind of came back to him. Fame circled back round to him a little bit too late. Which is a shame, because, and again, he's not like one of these actors who, as they get older, they let themselves go. They kind of, and then when they pass, you think, well, okay, they didn't perhaps treat themselves. I mean, he was ripped as anything. I mean, the guy was still, fit as a fiddle. And yet, and so it's such a shame at such a young age. And then, we'll call 76 young. At such a young age, and to be so fit, to then die in that way or pass in that way, it's it's horrible, a real blow. And I think and Twitter was full of that. I think just genuine shock. Such a shame. And I think he would have gone on to do even some of the best work of his career with directing and acting, because Grief Karga is a great character.
Right.
and always lit up the screen when he was on. So yeah, but there we go. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, we got comments in the chat. Van Gool, I got to
Yeah.
meet Carl at a convention when he was in The Mandalorian. But yeah, Steve at saying,
Yeah, I saw that.
please call 76 young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is young. I mean, it's especially when you're approaching it.
Yeah, I was just saying we're getting closer to
You're
it.
you're not that old, guys.
Not yet, but
We're all getting closer to it.
right.
Yeah,
Well, that's
the
true.
goal.
Yeah.
So, all right. We're gonna go to this next one here. John, you're up. We'll go to this now for you, and because we're getting to about that time. So here we go.
All right. So this was Masters of the Universe Revolution on Netflix. This had Dolby Vision, but it was 5.1 audio. Pretty short series, only 5 episodes at, 27, 29 minutes a piece. So this is like watching a movie, basically. You can get through it pretty quick. So this was done by Kevin Smith. Kind of a follow-up to the last go around, but treated a little bit differently. I think this one has been much better received for Kevin than the first go around. And I don't say season 1 versus season 2 because they actually have 2 different titles. They're not. This isn't season 2 of Revelations. This is Revolution. So yeah, I like this quite a bit. I thought this was excellent. A lot of fun. 5 episodes seems to be just right for this. 'Cause I believe the last series was split 5 and 5, and I think some of the feedback was that it was a little bit too long. This one seemed just right. As far as the theater experience goes, I mean, this is animated and in Dolby Vision. It looks great. I mean, it's as colorful as you want it to be. Great HDR. Really, really looks good. The audio is just okay. Even up mixed, it's got some bright spots, but it's nothing really to write home about. But for me, the highlight of this season or the show was having Bill Shatner and Mark Hamill acting in scenes together, even though they're not physically on screen together. And they probably didn't even record in the same booth on the same day and probably never spent any time together in real life, but still having Captain Kirk and Luke Skywalker together on screen was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, if you like Masters of the Universe, you definitely need to give this a go. It's a lot of fun. Don't know if there'll be another another installment of this. It is definitely, the door is open. So I think it all just depends on viewership. According to Kevin, they don't know yet. But yeah, check it out. It's pretty good.
Is there a bit more He-Man in this one though?
There
in the
is.
last one, He-Man kind of just disappeared for.
Well, and I think that was
the.
that was the biggest criticism, that He-Man wasn't the focus of. I'm going to say season 1, even though because it's just easier. It's easier to talk about. Even though the argument can be made that this is called Masters of the Universe. It's not called He-Man. So it did feature the Masters of the Universe. But yes, this one has a lot more He-Man in it. So,
well, because the toys. I mean, I had all the toys as a kid. This was one of the ones I had everything. I had the whole lot. And you used to, the toys was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
It was in the old. I think the original cartoon was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It was definitely He-Man centric, but these came back as Masters of the Universe, and season 1 definitely took that spin. But I actually I liked the first go. I liked for season 1 as well. But I can see where some of the criticisms came in, but I did enjoy it, especially because of, and again, where, not to get too much into it, but if you listen to Kevin talk about it, because I listen to him quite a bit on different podcasts, it was never meant to be split into 2 5-part segments.
Oh,
it was supposed to run 10 episodes, consecutively. So it just so happened that where it split left it in a very bad story position. And, people having to wait 6-8 weeks, whatever it was, to get the second half of it, just kind of lost their minds about where this thing was. But you were never meant to go more than the 7 seconds it takes to go from episode 5 to episode 6. So
Yeah,
that was a bit on Netflix.
Yeah, well, it did hit, because I watched this with someone more age appropriate for the toys,
Right.
when the last one came out, and there was definitely a waning of interest between the first 5, and then by the time the second 5 came around, there was less. I mean, I ended up finishing it on my own,
Right.
because it was just like, the age appropriate person had decided just didn't want to know,
Right.
because of that length of time. We'd just forgotten it, really, which is a shame. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing this again. If it's got more He-Man in it, and it's Hordak, isn't it? Is the bad guy in this one?
Hordak, yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting. So yeah, oh good. Well, I'm glad.
And there's some pretty good twists on the mythos here too. Like there's a big story twist here that is pretty interesting. So yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. Yeah, we got some comments going here. We got by the power of Grayskull. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I grew up with this, and I enjoyed the first season too. John and I remember us saying it does say Masters of the Universe. Not just he. Actually, I don't even think it said He-Man in the first one.
No,
right?
it doesn't. It was Masters of the
says
Universe,
Masters, yeah.
Revelations, and then this is Revolution.
Yeah.
I think Mark Bernardin joked on the Fat Man Beyond podcast that season 3 would be called Masters of the Universe Restitution.
Nice.
Yeah. So
rendition.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is that it for that?
Yeah. Check it out. Yeah.
All right. Pull it. Oops. Wrong one. There we go. All right. 6. Well, we're right about that time, guys. Here we go. Let me see what I can pull up here. What else do I got? I gotta find some images here. But John,
DJ.
why don't you just start? We got some news to break.
All right,
Breaking
yeah.
news.
So I've got a bit of news. Today's show is a little bittersweet for me, because this is going to be my last show for at least the foreseeable future. I've got some things going on in my personal life. For those that may follow my store pages on social media, you'll have seen yesterday that we made the decision to shut the business down, and all that entails. And so that is going to monopolize the majority of my time. I will no longer have the option to be available at early on Tuesdays to sit down and record, or any day for that matter, at least until this process is finalized. Obviously, when that is done, I will then have to go find gainful employment somewhere. And based on what and where that is and what kind of schedule that affords me, I would love to be back in the chair and doing this again. But, it's a little up in the air right now. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, really. But
yeah, the chat's lighting up.
But yeah. We decided to do it at the end of the show because we didn't want it to be a depressing
about the show.
A depressing show. But yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate everybody. Yes, thank you. Again, I'm not gonna lie. It's a rough time for me to be doing this. Obviously, I opened this business intending to ride it out until I retired, and didn't anticipate having to do this. But yeah, and so we'll see. We'll definitely be lingering in the chat with everybody else as much as I can, and hopefully contributing that way. So,
yeah. Well, I was actually, I was thinking, since you told me, one of the things John and I said, we joked about when we found out this was happening, is we're like, oh, good, we'll probably be able to talk more now because
we probably will. 'Cause
we will. And it's
we
like,
refrain from talking a lot during the
Yeah.
week.
Here we
because-
are at a store back in 2018. This was August of 2018.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at that park or whatever where we came up with the idea of doing a podcast.
Yeah, and Kima.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were sitting there, and the girls were over somewhere else, and we were on. I think it was rain was coming in, and we were trying to get a table with an umbrella, and we are sitting there talking, and the girls finally come over, and they're like, "What are you guys up to?" We're like, "Oh boy!" And then they both
We
said,
hatched a plan.
yeah, and they both said they didn't even think twice. They were like, "Well, yeah, you haven't shut up since you've seen each other." So, like, we met each other at the parking lot to drive to his house, and we were like, "Bap, bap, 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 bap," ever since. So we're like, so yeah, we'll be able to. I was thinking that not only we'll talk more, but you're still going to be in the show because I'll be like, and John said this about it, and then John said this about it, and it's like, so yeah, we're going to be hearing from you a lot. You always have the link. So that's what's cool.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah,
I mean, you always
Yeah,
can jump
yeah.
on, of course. This is as temporary as it can be, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Please,
So-
please.
Yeah.
But we know you got a lot to do. I mean, it's just the store closing, but then getting your, I like gainful employment.
Yeah,
It's like, as opposed to the one you've got now that's not gainful.
it's not gainful at
I'm
all
pretty
these days.
sure,
That's why we're closing down. But
Well, John, I'm pretty sure that the life of a gigolo is pretty flexible, so you should
He
be fine.
is, but
Should
he's
have-
not
yeah, he should
flexible.
have all the
He's
time.
cramping up.
well, that's
and
the
it's
problem.
just
Is my back. Yeah, it's my back. Really.
not- my back.
I'll work in the
Kinda-
morning and then I'll have to be laying down. So as long as I can do the show,
Well,
I can put a.
some
camera
might
on
say
the
that line
ceiling.
of work is mainly lying down anyway. But anyway,
Wow, we're going south
So
fast.
so yeah, like I said, it is what it is. But hopefully it's temporary more than permanent. And
Yeah.
we'll see. But
Yeah, it's and that's
you.
the thing. Once you find out, what you're doing, we'll figure whatever job you get there, what your schedule is. I mean, it doesn't have to be Tuesdays at 5. It doesn't.
no, it doesn't.
John, you and
but-
I have bounced around, and then we came to this because we're trying to bring in all the time zones, and if we'll find something that works for the three of us once we know what your schedule is.
Right.
yeah.
So
I mean, how long will your restroom breaks be? You'll be fine. just it'll be all right. Close the cubicle, fire up
That's
the
it.
microphone,
That's
and
it.
people
Just
will
put a
wonder what
sign
you're
on the
talking
door.
to.
Be back in 120.
leave the link.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can find me here.
Yeah. If you have any questions, hop in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Broadcasting live.
John, we have a cleanup on aisle 4. I gotta go.
Yeah, bad.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that was tough news when
Yeah.
John told me. I was devastated, of course. Not for the show, but for his store, because I know how much he wanted that and how hard he worked at that. It's hard to open a store and then to maintain
It is.
it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's, and we've had our ups and downs. This is year 9. So, I mean, we gave it a good run, we gave it a good run, but, I mean, obviously there's been some trials, we had a pandemic, we had, we've had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of bumps in the road. Let's put it that way. Supply chain issues, things like that. But
Yeah. Which does
unfortunately,
not do well for a
declining
comic book
sales
store.
amid rising costs just do not make for
Yeah.
a successful business model. So
Yeah.
you know.
No, and that's one of the things. Just a little very quick peek behind the curtain. Comic book stores, it's periodicals, right? So you can't mark up a price as a store owner, and you're dependent upon the traffic, the weekly traffic that you get, and then all of a sudden everything that happens. I mean, the fact that you lasted as long as you did, we all know other comic books did not. They didn't make it out of 2020.
Right.
Because once those supply chains go down, it's what do you tell your customers that need it, and they're just going to go online, they're going to go elsewhere, and
Yeah, it was tough. It was
it
definitely
was.
tough. Yeah, and
And the
yeah, like you
fact you
said, they're
fought this
periodical.
hard.
They have a short shelf life.
Yeah.
New books come out every Wednesday, so by the time they were a week old, they're already old news. And you know, and so you've got people. You got to have people coming in to really consistently pick them up every week, and otherwise you're just sitting on a lot of dead product. So yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but um, we will
Yeah.
watch anytime.
Hopefully,
Thank you, Van
going
Gool. Yep.
forward, less stress.
Well,
Moving for after, months from now. Hopefully,
here's the
less
thing, like
stressful.
I told my wife, I knew Monday morning was going to be the day that I let, pretty much, I'm going to say the rest of the world. Obviously, I don't have that kind of reach, but like I was going to let the public know what was going on. So Sunday was a long sleepless night for me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of tossing and turning, a lot of writing the email and posts in my head, trying to figure out game plans, things like that. Last night, I slept like a baby. Nothing's changed, but now it's out of my hands. Like the news is out there. It's done. What's done is done. And now the chips are just going to fall. Like, it's either going to liquidate or it's not. Things are just going to happen that are a little bit outside. I mean, obviously I have some control, but the heavy weight was done. Like I slept okay last night, and I did get some support. The plus side is, I guess if you announce you're closing, lots of people will come see you, because I've had the two biggest days I've had since well before Christmas, yesterday and today. I've had some pretty good sales. So a lot of people came out to support a little, and I don't want to say too little too late, because I definitely appreciate it. And I've got to sell every bit of merchandise I have. So it's all appreciated. But, I needed some of these sales a month ago.
Right.
So, but,
where's Alanis Morissette when you need her?
Exactly. It's too late now. I've already pulled the plug. I can't undo it. So,
yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah. So.
Yep. So, getting to, and you got Carl in the chat, and John and I have already talked about this. Carl says, University of Houston is always looking for talent, John. So, John, if you know anybody in the area with talent,
yeah, I'll let them know. Well, and that's the thing too. You know what? I am wide open. Like, obviously I had a career before I opened my store, and, I have experience that I could draw from, but I'm not looking to go back to doing what I was doing before. So I am open. So yeah, man, if anybody has lines on anything, I'm open to hear. I'm open to hearing about them. Obviously, I need to make a big boy salary. Like, I can't work for free. I am
right.
I'm not looking to start somewhere entry level for $10 an hour, but I'm pretty open on what I'm willing to do. So, yeah, I'm open to all lines of thinking. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But
great opportunity to get into a home theater job.
Yeah. Okay.
You got the, yeah.
Like I said, wide open.
Wide open.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Anybody out there knows anything, anywhere, anything, You know what else I was thinking, John? We should really look like the work from home type thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff.
I have thought of, believe me, I have thought about it. And if I could find something, because obviously it gives you the flexibility of scheduling to some degree. And it's funny because I sat down to dinner with Lydia on Friday, and we were discussing, I was kind of letting her know that, like, this is where we are, and I think it's time, this is what we're going to do. And then we started talking about after it's closed and going back to work and things like that, and I had a whole list of things I didn't want to do as opposed to what I did. It's like, well, I don't want to do this again, and I don't want to work weekends again. And man, I'm not working nights, and I don't want to really have to drive. So
right.
I was kind of cutting my options down a lot, but
but
I may have to compromise on some of that, but
there's so many jobs now though that are work from home, and forecasting. You've been in retail, you know the business, you know all of this stuff, and I mean, you had your own business, so you know forecasting, you know all that, and
Right.
there's
Yeah,
that's
I
just
mean, I
one
ran
thing,
a.
but
I,
there's so many
obviously, it
things.
wasn't ultimately successful because I'm closing my doors. But I mean, I ran a business for I ran my business for 8.5 years.
Right.
So I know a couple things. Because it's a lot longer than a lot of comic book stores are able to go. So
Yeah.
So I would like to think that some of the experience I brought in with me helped me to do that. But yeah, at a certain point, it some circumstances are beyond your control. I'm sure there were things I could have done differently or better to help the process along. But a lot of
Don't
stuff
do a
you just don't.
podcast.
Yeah. A lot of things you just don't have a lot of control over. You
Right.
can't necessarily control how many people walk through your front door. All you can do is do the best you can with them when they get there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's sad. Really is. It was so, but you'll be back.
well,
You'll
like I
be
said,
back here on the
so.
bus bench.
Yep.
Steve and I will be here every week. Right, Steve?
Keep the seat
I
warm.
don't mean
Oh,
to
yeah.
speak for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
It
don't
just
get me
seems
wrong.
like-
I mean,
Well, we
The
still
next
have
shoe
18
drops.
minutes. You didn't hear the second announcement.
I was like,
yeah, that's it.
yeah.
Oh, did I not tell you?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
back to being alone again.
All by myself.
So,
It's
Oh,
no. I
no.
mean, I mean, I was gutted when I find. I mean, John and I talked before the show. I was gutted, and this is the thing. Again, as I said to John, for a place I've never been, a place I've only seen online, it felt like a part of me, and it's really tough and horrible to hear, but I'm hopeful. And again, we talked earlier that by the way, John doesn't look very happy in that picture, Deej.
he's with
That's
me.
as happy as I ever looked.
Exactly.
when DJ and I are in the same room, anyway.
I mean, I've seen hostage videos where they look happier.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, it's like,
Stupid wife called me and said for his birthday, sure, come to my house. I'll let you stay there.
but yeah, no, it does suck massively. But
Oh,
the way I rationalize it to myself, and I'm putting emotional pressure on John, as you did, Deej, is this is temporary, and we need you back. Because
Yeah.
I can't fly the flag for Evil Dead Rise all on my own. I need at least someone else to
Right, 'cause the
to
movie's
show
not gonna
DJ the
help
way.
ya.
I can't watch all these
Yeah,
horror movies on my own.
Exactly that, But yeah, no, it's got to be temporary, John, because we need you back, buddy. Deej and I have always had fun doing it, and whenever we've done it. But it's you are the third part of the triangle, and it doesn't work without it.
Well,
So
thank you.
we
I mean,
we need you back when you can, but
Sure
when
that
you can,
guys,
obviously.
I'm sure that you guys are going to put on a great show. I have no doubt about that. But like I said, I do hope it's as temporary as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, realistically, we're looking at we're looking at 5-6 months easy. But then, after that, we'll see. We'll
Right.
see.
Yeah, man.
So.
All right. It was nice having you. We'll be taking interviews for the next person. If you just email me, DJ at Brightside Home Theater, if you'd like to join us.
He's to do as well. Oh, there he is.
That
was quick.
I dropped them from it, and you guys didn't get to see it because all you saw was this. John just went. I couldn't hear him, but his laughter just went like right. His face went right at the camera.
Yeah, when I see a third person back in the show, I'll know my time is done.
Oh,
Hey, no, we know from the 24-hour podcast we can get what 10.
At least 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I can get 10 on the screen. 10 on the screen is what our limit is. So,
Okay.
So we can
a big
interview
bus
8 at a
bench.
time, Steve.
Might be a 20-hour
yeah.
show every week, but we could do
I was
it.
going to say it's going to be like The Apprentice.
Yeah.
No, we're not replacing anybody. We're not doing anything
No.
like that. I wouldn't.
No.
It's no way. No way. So yeah, Steve and I, and then if something, if the schedule permits and he's home for some particular reason and we're still chatting away, Steve, which we tend to do, and he wants to jump in and say hi, that'll be fun.
Well, like I said, I did joke with both of you separately that there's no filter now, so you might be in
Oh,
for some
man.
long shows.
No, I think we'll keep it tight for that reason. Just so we're doing that for that reason. It's like, I mean, it's still late for Steve too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, just like our 10-minute across the pond sequences. I mean,
Right,
you know,
we're
they were
45,
just
50 minutes.
leaning me for nearly 2 hours on one of them,
Yeah.
I think, wasn't it?
Well, we recorded for 45, 50, but we
Yes.
talked for a half hour and
That's
then we
true.
hang up and then we stop recording and we talk for another hour.
Yeah.
Todd and I did the same thing the other day when we recorded. We talked for like a half hour, and that's why I said if you heard today's Takeover Tuesday, I go, yeah, I just hit record. Let's do some home theater talk. We were just talking away, and then he's like, all right, I got to get going, and then we ended, and by the time I got upstairs to dinner, she's like, I thought you said it was going to be quick, and I'm like, it was supposed to be because Todd wanted to be done, and it was like literally an hour and a half after he wanted to be done is when he finally was like, and he had to pull the plug. He was like, I got to go.
I said, that was quick. Do you know me?
Yeah, I know. It wasn't 24 hours.
Yeah.
Todd has a
This is
very
me being
easy
quick.
way. Yeah, Todd has a very easy way though of just kind of talking really kind of calmly and just and then time just disappears. It did during the 24-hour thing. You know, he was on for an hour and then it kind of went on. So he's very good at doing that.
But he's funny because he's so busy and like our conversations are like, I don't have time because he knows that he doesn't have time. Like once I engage with you, I'm stuck, and he's not blaming me because like even like our conversation the other day, I was like, I'm trying to let him go, and he's like, well, what do you think of that? What do you think? I'm like, Todd, and I love it. I'm like, because I'll go all day, as we all know.
Yeah,
So,
literally.
Yeah. So, and then John, it's amazing he's been on the show this long because this is what he looks like when
When
I'm in
you're
the
around.
room and talking. I didn't even notice that. I just grabbed it quick.
It's just my look. I mean, it's generally my look. That's my happy face.
He is happy.
Ecstatic.
Right.
Resting hostage face.
That's right.
Oh,
A
man.
little help me sign over here, but you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Today's newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
I was I'll say it. I was like, so when John texted this to me, it was like Jen and I were heading out and I was like, boom, I lost it, dropped my phone on the island, and she just saw it was John. She saw who it was, and she got so scared, and she was so upset, and she saw me just start pacing and walking around the room, and I'm like, and she's like, oh no, and then she picks it up, and she goes, oh, she's like, she thought it was a health thing,
Yeah.
like she thought, like, is he dying? I
Yeah,
was like,
because I texted that I died. So.
yeah, no, or
Beyond the
something,
grave.
like how bad is this? And then I was like, no, and then I explained to her, I'm like, the store and this and that, and the backstory, and she was like, so then she starts to lose it, and I'm like, we're both happy you're still alive,
Yeah.
but yeah, I know what the store meant to you, so that hit me really, really hard, and it was like, and you're like, and you're like hitting me with the news of the show. I'm like, I don't give a crap about the show.
Yeah.
Like, I got Steve.
Well, it was definitely it was a lifelong passion project, I mean,
Yes.
I talked about opening a comic book store when I was in high school,
Yep.
But, never was able to come to fruition until, like I said, about almost 9 years ago. So I got that out of it, at least. I can say I did it and I gave it my best shot. At least I won't regret not trying. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not, and I think the other thing as well, it's not as though every other comic book store is flourishing, that the market is booming,
Oh, no.
that it's, it's you bucked the trend. Oh, careful how I said it. Bucked the trend,
Right.
For a long time. And I mean, even Kevin Smith. I mean, he's talked on his podcast about how they struggled with the secret stash and all their kind of, and he has said repeatedly, had it not been for the way in which he's marketed that with his own stuff,
Right, his celebrity.
that would have gone a long time ago.
Right.
So you've bucked it for a long time, and that's not easy, and that only comes from someone with passion and skill and dedication.
A little bit of stubbornness.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
A little bit of stubbornness.
But it takes some, that takes talent to do that. And I mean, so whilst it's, I mean, I know how I feel gutted, and and it's nothing to do with me, but I feel it too. I feel this pit in my stomach, and yet, so whilst there's going to be that feeling of that, the reality is there is some goodness in that too as well. You've done some, really good work there. But there we go. Yeah, good old Carl. Yes. Well, Piggy in the middle, I'm thinking more than voice of reason. DJ's like one way, I'm the other, and you're in the middle.
Yeah.
So, that's funny.
So, yeah, when we started chat, it was comic based, and every week we talked about the comics and we talked about this, and then my family and friends I remember my aunt, she's like, you have a podcast? And she listened to it, and she said to it was my dad's sister, and she's like, I didn't even know comic book stores still existed.
Right.
And a lot of people don't. It's like people grow up, they fall off of it, and they think it went away for everybody.
Right.
And I know, when we talked week after week on chat about comic books, but we used to talk about the store as well. And at the beginning, like we brought a little bit to the show, but John and I would talk, and knowing, I have my own business, but it's completely different from John's. I'm mobile. If people don't come to me, I go to them, so I can adjust. And listening to John and what he had to go through, and how hard he was working, and then also getting that different perspective of like, okay, these are the costs here, and this is what this is, and then all of the crap that goes on with the publishers too, and him making that work, and then COVID hits, and it's just and then he's fought for 4 years since then. So it was tough before COVID.
It was tough. It's never been like, again.
It's not a money-making
almost
business.
9 years.
Yeah.
It was never. It's always been a passion project.
Yes.
But I've always been able to pay the bills and pay myself a living wage, and at least end every month a little bit in the black. It was never going to be. I was never going to get rich doing this.
Nope.
But yeah, since COVID, it's been a struggle. There was a bit of a boom in 2021. A lot of people came out of COVID and started spending, but it didn't sustain. It kind of dropped off after that. And then there was still, there's still supply issues. Everybody thinks it's all over with, but there's still issues with certain things. But yeah, for 2 years there was supply issues with books and paper goods and all kinds of things. So. It's been, like I said, it's been a struggle, but you would like to think, had we not had COVID, things might have gone a little bit differently, but you can't live in that world. It happened, and I'm still, like I told Lydia last night, we're still better off than lots of folks have it a lot harder than we do. So I count my blessings. This sounds trite because it is quote unquote an expression, but again, I feel just happy that I got to do it. I'm not sad that it's over. Just kind of happy that I got to do it, because I was going to work somewhere for the last 9 years. At least I got to do this, and it sucks that it's over, but at least I got to do it. And so, there's that. So,
and Jordan, with John leaving, Brightside live streams going from starring the Three Musketeers to now starring Laurel and Hardy.
There you go. Who's who?
Another fine mess you've got me into.
Yeah. I can't believe he didn't call us the Three Stooges. He's being kind because John's on the way out.
Yeah.
On the way out.
Can't kick a man when he's down.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else? You want to leave it there, boys?
I think that's
been tough.
That's good.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Obviously, thank you, John. I'm not saying goodbye because you're going to be back. And we're going to be, I can't wait for your first pop in. I can't wait to be announcing that you're coming back. I'm really looking forward to that. And so
until then, we'll leave it. We'll sign off like that.
Yeah. Until then, what do you got to do?
Go push play.
What he said.
Here we go. And
Hey, Fred.
this has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.